I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the Village of Bartlett, counties of Cook, DuPage, and Kane. Please call the roll at 7 p.m.
John Borkman. Michelle Sarwaz.
Here.
Charlie DeVoe.
Here.
George Koziel.
Here.
Bob Picaro.
Here.
John Mieso.
Here.
Julie Kapadakakis.
Here.
Amy McSwain.
Here.
Mike Weirden.
Here. You have before you the minutes from the April 23rd, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by George,
Second.
seconded by John. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Michelle Sarwaz.
Yes.
Charlie DeVoe.
Yes.
George Koziel.
Yes.
John Mieso.
Yes.
Julie Kapadakakis.
Yes.
Amy McSwain.
Yes.
Mike Weirden.
Yes. Okay, this brings us to the public forum. If anybody has anything to address to this board that is not on tonight's agenda, is there anyone that has anything to say? Okay, we'll move on. The item for tonight's consideration is case number 2605, Horizon Plaza, southwest corner of Lake Street and Horizon Drive. Are the petitioners here? If you're going to speak, then please come up to the microphone so that I can swear you in. Anyone else that plans to talk, there are slips on the back table. You need to fill that out and give them to Kim, and she'll call you up to speak. Okay, all of you, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the evidence you're about to give is only the whole truth? Yes. Okay, and then you'll just have to state your name and address when we call you up. Do we have the mailings, the newspaper account, and the picture of the sign?
Yes, we do.
Mark those exhibits A, B, and C. We also have exhibit D, which is an email from a resident to put into the minutes. Okay, petitioners present, whoever wants to start off, go ahead. Just give your name and address. It can be the commercial address, that's fine.
Commissioners, my name is Peter Bezos, an attorney in Elgin, Illinois. I'm representing the petitioner, Bartlett Automotive Mall, LLC. Here with me this evening, if you could just raise your hand so they can see, John Eberle is the petitioner's project manager. Bob Goodmanson of RWG Engineering is our civil engineer. Megan Weiss is our landscape planner. I don't see Valerie Jacoby here, right? So that she may be arriving. But anyway, that's the totality of us here tonight. By way of background, the petitioner is affiliated with three other LaCourcio entities. The petitioner is owned by the LaCourcio family, and it's affiliated with three other LaCourcio entities doing business in your community. The Hyundai facility, the Genesis facility, and as of 60 days ago, one of their affiliates bought the Squeaky G's car wash rather than putting a car wash on this site that's here before you tonight as was originally planned. The project here tonight, as the slide indicates, is about the project that we've all called the Bartlett Horizon PUD. On this slide, on this aerial, you're seeing in white, basically in white, a 9.74 acre site that is immediately east of Moretti's and immediately west of the it's immediately east of Moretti's, and it is also east of the Hyundai Genesis facilities that are west of Moretti's itself. And it is itself west of the parking lot. That purple parking lot to the right of the white facility is the ancillary inventory storage parking lot for the Hyundai Genesis facility. Is there a pointer thing? Does anybody have one? It's on here? I can just do this? Oh, look at that.
Wow, technology, huh?
Cool.
Don't throw these things at me.
Yeah.
So this is the facility tonight. This is Moretti's. Hyundai Genesis there. But when Hyundai Genesis went in, we acquired this land from the village It was going to be a grocery store. It turned out that we were able to package this whole program. This is an existing Hyundai Genesis overstorage inventory parking lot.
Okay.
So this is your comprehensive plan, and the comprehensive plan contemplates that all of this along Lake Street is to be business commercial. I'm going to put my glasses back on. This is your actual zoning map right now of the land in this area, and the site is there. It's the yellow site, ER1. That site was purchased by the LaCourcios several years ago when they bought the Hyundai Genesis land. We purchased it, they purchased it from a religious facility that we understand was going to put either a religious chapel or temple or a school there, in which case that would have been tax-exempt property. When we annexed it, or when it was annexed into the village of Bartlett, it came in at its lowest, at its most restrictive zoning classification, which is ER1, estate residential, I'm sorry, which is typical in annexation law. If you don't come in and agree to do something otherwise, it just automatically goes to the most restrictive classification. Clearly, this is not estate residential in nature. And in fact, your comprehensive plan, as I showed you a minute ago, shows that it should be commercial. So tonight, the petitioner is seeking to rezone this parcel from ER1 to B3, to ask you to recommend approval of a special use for a planned unit development, a separate special use for wetland modification, a possibility of liquor sales, and also gaming. Now, we won't be seeking any of that right away, but we just need the ordinance to allow it in case an opportunity comes up to do it. Let's see. So this slide shows the intended site plan of the facility. The main entrance would still be off of Horizon Drive where it intersects Lake Street. We would put a building here, a 47,778 square foot building here. There would be a parking lot in the rear with screening and a fence that we'll show you in a minute. The westerly unit of this building, the let me see if I can go back to a better slide of this. Yeah, here. So the westerly unit of this building would be a showroom or gallery, either term would apply, for classic and vintage unique cars. Go back one? Oh, here we go. Okay, thank you. So this is unit one, and classic and vintage cars would be kept here as a gallery or museum. On occasion, the main floor of this facility plus the mezzanine up above would be used to host attendees that would be invited for showings of these cars. This would also, the mezzanine could also be used to host meetings, business meetings, or other similar functions, weddings, etc. Now, that's too small for a wedding, but in any event, parties. Hosting would we call this in our application the hosting use. The hosting use would take place almost always in the evening, and probably most of the time on weekends, but not always. In any event, though, these hosting uses would very rarely take place during peak business hours, peak traffic hours. It is estimated that 5 or 6 times per year, the hosting use would involve perhaps an invitation-only offering of some of these cars to maybe 10 to 20 guests, says Mr. LaCourcio, who would arrive at Unit 1 in probably not more than 5 to 10 cars, and again, no doubt in the evening after they're done doing whatever they do. It's also estimated that at various times throughout the year, again, mostly in the evenings, the hosting use on Unit 1 could involve the renting out of the facility for business meetings or private parties. The capacity is estimated to not handle more than 60 people, which would probably only involve 30 to 35 cars. And, turn the page here. It should be noted that that kind of a private rental activity could be engaged in by any member of the public, including village residents who might want to have, a small party and come look at fancy cars or a birthday party, et cetera. The other unit, Unit 2, is the east end of the building, is a 20,102 square foot portion of the building. It's going to contain 10 repair bay facilities with hoists and 5 additional bays that are more for finishing or lighter detail work. And this is all going to be work that is to support the repair work that the Hyundai and Genesis facilities to the west are overloaded and otherwise couldn't handle. So it should be noted that, when you do repair work, when you have your car repaired, a portion of that bill that you get is for labor, and another significant portion of it is for parts. The village of Bartlett will enjoy the sales tax that is increasingly generated because of this additional repair facility. They'll enjoy the sales tax on that additional part sales. And the Hyundai Genesis facilities will be made even stronger. And while I don't have the numbers, Hyundai Genesis already has made a substantial contribution to the village's sales tax. All right, let's go back to the site plan for a minute. The south side of the parking lot, right here, let me hold it a little more steady, is about 194 feet from the fence line of the townhome residence to our south. And the building, the south face of the building, is about 251 feet from here to the south face of the building. Right along here is going to be a solid fence, and on this side of the fence will be large plantings, evergreens, and Megan here, our landscape planner, can give you a better description of that if you'd like. This is all wetland area and will be left as such. See slide 11. This shows you the townhome to the south. We're leaving any and all existing vegetation right along the property line. This is then looking to the north. Here's the wetland facility. Here's the fence with the evergreens that we'll be planting to help screen that look. And then finally, there's the building. So this is essentially the 251-foot separation and the green space and plantings that exist. There is a landscape plan that's in the packet. There we go. And it doesn't offer much at that perspective, but I can tell you, and Megan can further explain, we're going to be planting 120 trees and 391 bushes. And in addition, there'll be some additional perennials and ornamental grasses, which we haven't counted, but it's on the landscape plan. So there's going to be a substantial landscaping contribution to the site. I want to show you as well the building. So this is the face of the building as it would be seen from Lake Street. So the building, and hopefully it's better in your package, but it's a very good-looking building. I know when we went to the village board before they referred us to it, we got a number of comments that they thought the building was quite attractive. And of course, there's no landscaping on this picture, but there will be significant landscaping in front of it. So because of its topography, the site has remained vacant for a long time. I'd like to hand out to you, maybe John, could you help me with this? Could you give each of them one of these? And also, I'll give one to Christie.
Thanks.
What is being handed out to you is a copy and paste from your village code for what is permitted in the B3 zoning district that we are seeking. This is not everything. And essentially, let me tell you that first you see B1 at the top, then you see B2 in the little green square, then you see B3. The village in B3, basically everything that is permitted in B1 and B2 is permitted in B3, so it's stacked up. So I had to give you all of them. You will see that the two uses that we're seeking here are, well, for the automobile gallery is number 17. It is called Art Studios and Galleries, or it could be viewed as a museum. It's certainly one of those two. Those are permitted uses. The use for the auto repair facility in the B3 is a special use, which means that special uses by law in Illinois mean that when your village board decided to describe permitted uses, they're just be able to be established as a matter of right. Special uses have to come before the board and you for a closer look, but it's already been determined because they're on the list that they are a permitted that they are a proper activity in the district. So essentially we're asking as part of this PUD that you approve as a special use this use, which is listed as a special use in your ordinance. Game rooms are permitted, subject to licensing. The service of alcohol is permitted, subject to licensing. And meeting facilities are permitted. So really what we're proposing to do here is all permitted except for the major repair, which is a special use. When you look at some of the other uses on this list of permitted uses, of B3 uses, let me see if I can go back here. Give me a second. You're going to see things like drugstores, restaurants, liquor stores, convenience stores, supermarkets, all of those things, if this were rezoned B3, which is really what your comprehensive plan calls for, and which is what the zoning classifications both left and right of this site are, all of those uses could be established as a matter of right without any zoning hearing. In fact, when the LaCourcios bought this parking lot that is now their ancillary parking lot for their Hyundai Genesis dealership. I remember discussing with the village attorney that the village was considering selling that to a supermarket. And I bring that up only because we know that, residents will have concerns over traffic. Imagine what the traffic would be with drugstores and supermarkets, et cetera, going up and down Horizon Drive. The proposed uses that we're going to put in here, if allowed, will be this gallery slash showroom use for exotic and cars will generate such little traffic. It won't be open 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It'll be by invitation. This will be a very quiet activity. This repair use will be really probably actually it will not be any more heavily used than the parking lot to the east that's already there. And those cars will not go out and go down Horizon Drive through the neighborhood. They will go out and turn right on Lake Street and then make a loop and come back. We're ready to answer. Well, I'm sorry, I skipped something. In our packet, we addressed all of the standards for rezoning and special use and for PUDs. And I think the staff's report supports the fact that we've met those standards, and we believe firmly that we have. So other than leaving this site empty, which is really not what I hope anybody wants, we're certainly welcome.
You'll get a chance to speak. Don't interrupt.
We're available to answer any of your questions. As I say, our civil engineers here and our landscape planner. And thank you.
We could see some of the landscape planning. That would be okay.
So,
Your name and address again, please.
Megan Weiss, Wheaton, Illinois, with Gary R. Weber Associates. Should we start at the beginning? Let's do the southern property line here.
Well, I had one question. There was a small wetlands, 1/1800ths of an acre or something that was, what part is that, or where is that on the lot?
The part that's being impacted is there's a little portion right in this area where the parking lot is that is now parking lot. So that's the portion of wetland that there's two parts broken up. That is the plantings that are around this existing wetland. The requirement for that, I'm not Valerie, so I'm not the best with all of the vocabulary words. But just that transition, because of that impact, the county will require so many trees and shrubs that basically are intended to protect the existing wetland here on the edges because of the impact of the building and the parking lot. And so in this wetland over here, it's really just this stretch, sorry, not the most level-handed, that the drive entrance there is crossing over a wetland. And so that is a small impact for that. And then the portion that's for that buffering is right in there. This is all a wetland that is staying. It's an existing wetland not being impacted. This is another existing wetland that's not being impacted. The only portion of the existing wetland that is impacted is this portion, and then right where the driveway is.
We've had a lot of discussion with the village staff and their wetland consultant and our wetland consultant, and the proposal involves replanting the 0.1 .18 acres of the wetland that was previously impacted when some trees were cut down. So they're going to put in 38 new trees and 105 bushes in that impacted wetland area. As to the wetland area that's going to be impacted by the additional building, we're in discussions with the village about either buying off-site wetland credits, which is what the DuPage County ordinance that you follow requires, or maybe making what they call a fee in lieu payment to the village, and the village will then use that money to enhance or expand wetlands within the village boundary. So all of this is going to be done in compliance with the county ordinance and the village code.
How does the retention basement figure into the wetlands, or does it?
It's actually fit in between the two existing wetlands. So this here and here, so it's
Right.
just in between it. It doesn't go into the impacting of it at all.
Okay.
Along the south side, where the fence is going to be, how many trees and what type of trees?
There.
Yes.
Those are all spruces. These four are white pine because they're a part of the wetland 50-foot buffer area, so they have to be complete native species. So those four are the native white pine evergreens, and the rest are 3 different varieties of spruce.
What's the total number of those trees?
There is a total of 32 evergreen trees.
Okay.
There,
I would,
For the evergreens?
on that side,
Oh, and that's, yeah. Oh, just on that side would just be 18.
Hello. My name is Bob Gudmundson. I'm the consulting civil engineer for the project, and I just wanted to share, I didn't want to take anything away from Megan, our landscape architect, but I can give you a few statistics that perhaps kind of puts things into perspective with regard to wetlands and open space. And I can do it very quickly for you.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. As mentioned before, there are actually 2 wetlands on the property. And what's the button? Is the top button? Okay. You've got one is right over in here. That's the west wetland. And of course, the east wetland is right here. The east wetland, the one over here, is over 46,000 square feet in size. It's over an acre. The west wetland over here is a little over 38,000 square feet. So you can see there's quite a bit of open space wetland area on the site. In order to make the project work as compact as we could, and as Megan mentioned a minute ago, there are 2 areas where we encroach slightly, and I'll define slightly. One is right over here at the west end of the building site for the westerly wetland, and the other one is right here at what I would call the southeast corner of the building. In order to minimize that situation at the southeast corner of the building, we're introducing a retaining wall, structural retaining wall, which will drop the grade right down to meet the wetland very efficiently and absolutely minimize the encroachment. And all total, our encroachment, I think one of you mentioned 0.18 acres. That is correct. And in order to put that in the same square footage, it's about 7,800 square feet. So as I said before, we've got one wetland over 46,000 square feet, another wetland over 38,000 square feet. Our encroachment is about 7,800 combined total square foot. So we've done what we think is a pretty decent job to protect the existing wetland, keep it as open space. And when I talk about open space, an interesting statistic that I'd like to share with you on this site, it was mentioned before, it's a 9.74 acre piece of property. But with this development, over 69% of that property will remain open space. There are not many developments that I know of that create or leave that kind of an open space percentage. If bigger facilities, as Peter had mentioned before, were put on this site, very likely to become much more intense. So that's just what I wanted to share with you. Again, I don't want to take away, I guess I have, Megan, but if there's any other, if you want to know anything more about the civil engineering, I can certainly share that with you. I'll suffice to say at this point, the site is well suited. The sanitary sewer is on the south end of the property. Water main will be looped around the building, tied in at 2 points so that it'll be a looped contemporary system. And the stormwater management, the stormwater detention facility will be in between, just south of the building and the parking area, in between the two wetlands, and it is designed to discharge the restricted release rates appropriate to each of the wetlands to maintain the hydrology in each of those wetlands. That's my story.
It won't be washing them out.
Thank you.
Any other landscape questions?
Yes. In my wanderings this morning, I noticed quite a few very beautiful wildflowers. Is there going to be an attempt to retain some of those
In the wildflowers?
wildflowers in the area?
Well, actually, the whole, this whole area, this hatched area in the detention is wet meadow, which is all native plantings that will be a combination that some will have flowering, perennials or, that sort of thing. Then it transitions into prairie, and that will have wildflower mix in with it. And then again, anything that's inside of this existing wetland on either one will remain as well. There is nothing in this corner of the property that is being touched, impacted. It will be from this point, from this wetland on, just as you see it today.
Thank you.
And this seating actually wraps around this whole side of the Horizon Drive up to this portion too, and stops at that entrance. And that is because this wetland does travel right up in here, and that is the requirement to have the native seating, so you can't have your Kentucky bluegrass turf in that area.
Anyone else before we open it up to the public? Okay, at this point, I shall open it up to the public. If you are planning to speak, make sure that you sign one of the forms in the back and give it to Kim.
Michael Murphy.
Good evening. My name's Michael Murphy. I live at 1098 Horizon Drive. I'd like to know if they intend to maintain the old growth trees on Horizon. The old growth trees along Horizon.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask you a question. Every commission has a different way of doing things. The most common way I have found is that the chairman or that your commission would want me to write down the questions, let them ask the questions rather than back and
some of the questions might not be directly to you, they might be to us. Typically, we just call them like this.
So you want us to answer as they turn and ask us?
I would have the person from the public go through their questions, let them speak, and then you can have the petitioner respond with the
Yeah.
appropriate person. That way it's one person at the microphone at all times.
Yes, because we need to have you at the microphone.
Thank you, sorry for the,
Go through your list of,
about the maintenance of the old-growth trees on Horizon. Because on the previous property, there's been some damage to the old-growth trees, and it doesn't seem to have been replaced or refurbished. Landscaping on Horizon currently is done by our association. I'd like to find out if with the update of the property, that you'll be taking over landscaping on Horizon Drive. Does this project include sidewalks on the Lake Street side of the property? And I have a question for the village. Is it my understanding that this maintenance of Lake Street is dedicated by the village of Bartlett now?
State road, isn't it?
The frontage road, yes.
Frontage Road is changing.
And does this usage of the garage proposed as a painting body shop activity? Will they have painting and body shop activity as part of this new facility? And most importantly, the dealership has not been a good neighbor. And what I mean by that is the traffic and the porters, the car porters, have been reckless on Lake Street. They've been on the frontage road. They are reckless in the way they drive, and there seems to be no recourse. You call the village, you call the dealership manager, and you talk about the orders and the salespeople when they're chauffeuring people. They've been known to take customers into the parking lot, and I don't believe that was part of our original intention. That sums up my questions and concerns for tonight.
I think as to the frontage road, that's going to be taken out, isn't it?
So let's have the petitioner respond to the petition.
Okay.
And then I'll cover the village and I have.
Okay. Go ahead. If you would come up to the microphone.
Okay, so the first question was, will the developer maintain the landscaping on Horizon Drive? I take it that meant adjacent to our property, and I would think that answer would be yes. Right. Yes, will we maintain our own landscaping on, will we maintain the old growth trees on Horizon? Where are those old growth trees, do you know? Leave them alone, preserve them?
Yeah.
The answer is yes?
Correct.
That answer is yes. Are there sidewalks anywhere, Mr. Goodmanson?
Yes.
Where are they?
Their sidewalk is, for village code, intended to go on the west side of Horizon.
Down like this?
Correct.
And does it go this way too?
Yes.
Sidewalks there already on the west side, on Horizon. The question was about the Lake Street side.
Get up by the microphone, please. Can you get, because this is recorded.
Not a problem. The missing sidewalk The village is asking us to put this segment in here following the outside, or what I'll call the south side of the jug handle, and the frontage on that leg of Horizon, and then link in right here to the existing walk that is on the west side. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. Everly, the question is, will there be a paint and body shop activity here?
Zero paint and body shop activity.
So none. The answer to that is none. It's auto repair.
The activity on the auto service side to the east would be all very light-duty oil changes, tire changes. From a construction, I'm on the construction development side. The building would have extensive soundproofing. The facility would only be operating during normal business hours, would never go past, say, the dinner hour, and almost zero activity on a Saturday. We usually cut dealership activity on a Saturday off by noon or 1 o'clock. No nights, no weekends, no holidays. So what we would consider very light-duty auto maintenance on the eastern auto service side.
I think that was all the questions.
So as far as the frontage road the village has jurisdiction for the maintenance of the frontage road. We are working with the petitioner on a development agreement that the village board will be reviewing. We are asking for curb along the south side of the frontage road, parallel to the petitioner's front property line. We're asking them to, and then, as they said, they are installing the sidewalk. We're looking at seeing what intersection improvements, if any, IDOT would allow. So IDOT has control over the intersection itself. So that is something that is beyond the village's control.
Point out that location with the pointer, please.
So we are asking for curb along the frontage road. IDOT has control of the actual intersection itself. Any sort of improvements to try to add a separate right turn lane would require IDOT authorization, so we're working on coming up with some sort of cost share agreement with the developer for that design. Again, that's something that IDOT has jurisdiction over. It's nothing that we can force IDOT to approve. That's completely up to them, the actual intersection improvements. The village only has control over the maintenance of the frontage road itself. And I will add that we recently received preliminary plans from IDOT regarding bike path on Lake Street. That's why nothing's being proposed at this point on this leg, because we don't know what their plans are. It's IDOT. It can take years for those plans. But they are showing, in the preliminary Phase 1 plans I received yesterday, they are showing it along the south side of Lake Street, basically from Moretti's west all the way to the reconfigured Shales Parkway interchange.
Sounds good.
David Hall.
Good evening, I'm David Hull. I live at 1250 Spalding Road, which is around the corner where Horizon becomes Spalding, from that edge all the way around. What is going to be the plan for all the road construction that is going to be needed? We're having homes being built, the wonderful Bartlett Meadows back behind this parking lot, and then if this goes on, there's going to be an awful lot of congestion in that area, which is going to force everybody out through Spalding Road to get to Naperville to go up to Lake Street. This is going to create a lot of traffic in an otherwise quiet, pleasant neighborhood. We have a lot of children. We have a lot of pedestrians. We have a lot of people walking, pets and dogs and other such things. And this is going to be an overburden of an area that, as taxpayers to this facility, I don't find it very appealing myself. But, what are the tax benefits is my question to the village with this. Number two, how many of you live in the area and might be inconvenienced by this? Does anybody, show of hands, live in that area? I didn't think so. All right, I just think this whole plan is an absolute boondoggle, and I would really seriously consider voting no. Thank you.
I think the only question Mr. Hull asked that is answerable by us is where will the road construction take place? The staff memo to you indicates that all construction traffic needs to come off of Lake Street. It will be coming off of here and into here very quickly. So most of the most of the heavy lifting is going to be well within the boundaries. Now, there is supposed to be curb and gutter put in, which is a public improvement that this developer will make. And unfortunately, you can't make public improvements to streets without causing a little inconvenience, but the developer has agreed to do that if that's what the village wants.
Don Llewellyn.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me come up here and speak. My name is Don Llewellyn. I live at 1136 Peregrine Parkway in Eagle Ridge. Now, I'm going to make a lot of comments about this, but I'd like to say at the end of the day, I understand putting a building on a property. But there's some concerns I've had with some of the comments that were made here tonight and some of the things that were in a permit application. The first concern I have for tonight, with all due respect to Mr. Bezos, he made several references in his discussion about economic impact and how much money the village may make having a parts supply inside a building right there. It's my understanding that the economic impact of the building should not be a consideration for the permitting process. So I would please, if that is a correct statement, then I would just ask that we remember that and keep that in mind. The next thing is there's discussion about landscaping, and a question I would have, and not trying to be a jerk pointing out things, but if you look at the parking lot across the street from these folks, same people own it. They've had dead trees in the Horizon entryway for over a year. They just recently, in the past week, removed those dead trees. So I realize they're going to take care of the plantings today when they put them in. But for Eagle Ridge, we spend about $10,000 a year on fertilization and pesticide treatment of the trees on our property. And I would just hope, especially when the lady mentioned spruce trees, that there's a lot of diseases with the spruce trees, that they would make a concerted effort to actually take care of the trees that they plant and not let them die like they did on Horizon. With all due respect to Mr. Bezos, and I understand that he's had information presented to him, but when we discussed Bartlett Meadows a couple months ago, one of the comments was made that the parking lot people do not always turn right and do a loop, that the parking lot people sometimes do turn left, and that they sometimes do go through Horizon. So before we are so quick to say that they will definitely do this, we know as a matter of fact that they don't always do that. It was a lot worse when a parking lot was first built and a first car starting getting delivered, but it has gone down, but it is a fact that that still occurs. So when it's mentioned that they will not do that from this facility, I have to take that with a grain of salt. The next thing I would just like to mention about the permit application is there's been mention about Moretti's and there's been mention about the parking lot, but there's been no mention about the southern border. The southern border is a residential area. It is Eagle Ridge, and we have 146 families that live there. And then, as the board knows, permitting was approved for Bartlett Meadows to be built just south of the parking lot, which will add another 27, 28 single-family homes. So when we talk about the permit, and it's consistent for this, consistent for that, let's remember, we're building, this is currently residential, and it is in a residential neighborhood, and there are, if you go through Horizon, you're going to go through Eagles Ridge, you're going to go past Amber Grove, and you're going to go past the collection of homes, and then I believe in February of 2027, Bartlett Meadows is expecting to start selling homes there. So there's going to be another 27, 28 homes. This is a residential area. I got my notes, sorry, so hopefully I won't be repeating myself. We're going out of order. But I also like to point out that with respect to the Bartlett Comprehensive Plan, Moretti's, the 2-car dealerships, Squeaky G's, and even Bautista Church, which borders Naperville Road, all those items are geographically isolated from the residential areas. So you cannot go from Timberline or Bartlett Ridge or Eagle Ridge into any of these properties directly, or you can't drive your car, I should say. There is a walking path through the Peregrine Park, and you can cut through Bartlett Ridge, and you can walk through the backway to Moretti's. But there is no way that I could drive my car from Eagle Ridge without going on to Lake Street. The other item I'd like to bring up is I'm concerned about the purpose of the building. In the permitting process, it was mentioned a museum, a car display, service area, a private event venue with full liquor license, full video gaming license. The only places in the village of Bartlett that I'm aware of that have a full liquor license and video gaming are bars. And this, again, this is going through a residential neighborhood, and it should be pointed out that it's less than 1,000 feet from the center of that building to the backyards, to the houses of Eagle Ridge. So you're talking about, I don't know what the exact distance is, but I know it's less than 1,000. So we're talking about within 1,000 feet of a residential area, we want a full liquor license and we want video gaming. Now, I'm not quite sure why a person doing auctions or doing some other business that is going to be specifically for car, why they need a video gaming license or why they need a full liquor license. But again, when they say private event venue, that concerns me because as of today, they might say, and I believe in a permit application, they said they expect about 30 cars to be present during one of those private venues. I don't know where you live, but I'm sure you're familiar with Bartlett. That's why you're on the board. But you're not going to line up 30 cars on Frontage Road to exit onto Lake Street. Once the event is complete, people are going to start leaving, and once they start leaving, they're going to take a look to the left and say, that's jammed up, there's going to be 5 cars, 7 cars, it's going to be backed up, and they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go through Horizon. So they're going to drive through Horizon, past a few different communities, and then you're also going to be passing a public park, Windy Oaks Park, which has a lot of children that play there. If you ever drive through Spalding, you have to be careful because after school, there's a group of kids that are elementary age to middle school age that play soccer there. Not all the time, and they're pretty decent about it, but every once in a while they do kick a ball into the street, and kids do what they do. So I'm concerned when you say private events and it'll only take place in the evening. Again, less than 1,000 feet, and there's people with families that are going to want to put their kids to bed. So now we have lights going on until late. We have families with small children that have to put up with noise from a private event venue. Now, I appreciate the gentleman said that there's a lot of soundproofing, so we shouldn't get noise from the working on cars and everything, but I live behind Moretti's, and I'm aware, even though they're over 1,000 feet from me, that it does get loud and it does come on. So now we're going to have people twice as close, and it's going to be there. A note that a few years ago, and I may be wrong on this, I'm sure the folks on the board would know better. It was my understanding that there was a bar that looked to build a standalone establishment next to Chesterbrook Academy. And even though their hours would be mutually exclusive with Chesterbrook, the Village of Bartlett decided that, you know what, you don't need a place serving alcohol adjacent to a place that has kids. And even if the two are not going to intertwine, the kids would be gone by the time the bar opens up and that. So when they say they want a full liquor license, to me that raises a red flag, especially when you look at the entry configuration. I'm not aware if they did a traffic study. I know Bartlett Meadows commissioned a traffic study and that was presented. But you have people that are going to be coming at pretty much the same time to attend an event. You have people that are going to be pretty much leaving at the same time to attend an event. And there's no traffic study on that. And just to reiterate, I realize everybody knows this, the frontage road going to Lake Street is one lane in each direction. So any cars turning left, any cars trying to go straight is going to back up all the traffic trying to exit. And, you know, we know from experience that not all the carporters turn right and go around. The other question I have on this is, and I know they want to do a good job and everything like that, but the other concern I have that I haven't seen anybody discuss is the reality that if you're traveling eastbound on Lake Street and you turn onto Frontage Road, it is a blind turn. If you look at the elevation of Moretti's and you look at what's happening here, if you're on Lake Street going 40, 45 miles an hour, and we know that people may go a little bit faster, I'm sure everybody's driven on Lake Street, you're going to come in there, you're going to suddenly slow down, and then you're going to turn, but you're always thinking it's going to be clear. But if we have construction traffic, if we have an auto trailer, if we have a truck towing an auto trailer, it's going to, you know, not necessarily be seen by the people. So I'm concerned about this is a blind curve or blind turn, and I think that is a traffic safety hazard that I respectfully request the board consider, or ask people who know more about traffic stuff than I do. And I don't want to sound extremely negative, but I am concerned about this. They are not taking care of the landscaping of their current parking lot property. They did recently remove the trees, but they left them there for over a year, dead. They don't do anything with the sidewalks that are adjacent to their property like all homeowners are supposed to. They don't have any landscaping currently in place that actually walks along the sidewalks and the area between the fence and the sidewalk and take care of the brush that gets up or develops. And they don't do any cleaning of the garbage. Eagles Ridge, I do once a year on Arbor Day, on the Saturday after Arbor Day. I do a cleanup when I go along that area to clean up the trash that's been collected in there so that we can at least make it nice, because we are concerned, Eagle Ridge is concerned about our property values. So, you know, it's in our best interest that it gets cleaned up. But there was a lot of comments made, but I am concerned to reiterate that the primary concern I have is a private event venue in a residential neighborhood with a full liquor license and video gaming license. I don't think that's consistent with the Village of Bartlett as far as being in a residential neighborhood, or the cars will be transiting a residential neighborhood. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Thank you. Pending any questions? Thank you.
Brian Thomas.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah. My name's Brian Thomas. I live at 1260 Spalding Road, which is just west of this area. I came here to listen to see what was happening, and I'm glad I did. I just want to let you guys know traffic and safety. I know that you spoke a lot about traffic and safety, and the importance of not having Horizon and Spalding be a throughput of that area. And after listening also and hearing that they're talking about a liquor license and a gambling license, at a place that's going to be a car dealership. I see something happening in the future. I appreciate letting me speak. Thank you.
Carol Hominick.
My name is Carol Hominick. I live at 1078 Horizon. I'm going to use this little thing, which means I live right there. So I am at the wetlands. So that's why I spoke up to say that's where it was. So apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt. But so I'm here today. I get that it's been vacant land I've not lived there more than 5 years. I think it's been more than 20. I know it's been vacant for a long time. I'm sure somebody's going to come in and somebody's going to build something, right? It's going to end up happening. So I think it's inevitable. I echo some of the concerns about the liquor license and the gambling. For sure, the noise. My bedroom window will be overlooking the parking lot. I'm concerned about light, parking lot lights. And now all of a sudden, am I going to have to do something to block the light out and everything else? But, at the end of the day, like I said, something is probably going to go in there, whatever it is. It's probably going to be something that I would rather look at trees and wetlands instead of, but that's not the case. So the reason that I am really here today is to additionally echo, I'm just going to read this so I don't get off track, is to additionally echo the current and future infrastructure and traffic safety in our community. The intersection at Horizon Drive and Frontage Road is already hazardous, and it needs a three-way stop ASAP. The parking lot has been referred to as an ancillary parking lot, and the images in here show like sparse cars. It's packed to the gills. It's traffic in and out every single day. They don't turn right always. They have to a lot of times because you can't turn left because of the traffic. It's so much traffic that you literally can't. But sometimes they do. Sometimes they sit there and wait and wait and wait until, and now you've got a line of cars backing up because they're gonna wait until they can finally make a left without killing somebody. So the situation at the three-way that would be Horizon and Frontage Road immediately needs a three-way stop sign. It's needed it for now, ever since that parking lot went in. And I understand IDOT controls that main intersection at Lake Street. I'm going to put my faith in the village of Bartlett to advocate significantly with the folks at IDOT to really stress the importance of expanding that intersection, having a right lane only turn, putting in a street light. I will be seeing that street light from my bedroom, like I mentioned. I want it there. It is so dangerous. That intersection right there, you've got what's not seen in here is, I think it's called Tuscany, I'm not sure. But the other community across Lake Street that also is dealing with trying to make a left-hand turn out onto Lake. So now you've got these guys trying to go left, those guys trying to go left, the rest of us just trying to get out. Traffic like driving 65, 70 miles an hour both directions. Accidents constantly, street closures constantly, flight of life landing to try to take somebody away to save their lives because of accidents at Lake Street and Naperville. It's just a very horrific traffic situation at that spot. So now we're going to add in a whole neighborhood of, I thought it was 29, 26, 27, whatever, single family homes that their only egress is Horizon. There's not going to be a way for them to get out onto Route 59, so they have to come through my street. And all the construction, so break ground construction is going to be like the same time or approximate based on the urgency that I read in the proposal for this facility. And so now we're going to have construction in and out, workers in and out, and everything for the next, 1 to 2 years. And then we're going to have all that additional traffic and flow that everyone else has even described in terms of concerns with the backup at Lake Street and people trying to get out, and now having nothing but going through our neighborhood, which I'll echo, tons of pedestrian traffic, lots of kids, quiet usually, and safe. So I'm here today really to stress the importance to you guys about our neighborhood, our safety, and not having to constantly have, that worry that something terrible is going to happen because the infrastructure wasn't built to support what we're adding into this small amount of space. I mean, I know this is no Soldier or Bears Stadium, and I know this is in Arlington Heights, but it's the same argument. Like, you want to add in all this stuff, but the infrastructure needs to be there if you're going to do that. And if we can't get the infrastructure right, I don't see how we can do this without creating a major safety hazard for our community. That is all. Thank you.
I would like to make one comment to you. If you have concerns
I'm sorry?
You have concerns like about a street light thing, or maybe people are turning left when they shouldn't be, come to the village board meeting, to the town hall portion, and address the village board, because they're certainly going to be trying to work with the state to get more needed improvements. Realize that originally that was going to be the Elgin O'Hare Expressway. And so
It would be better if it were, though, because then it would be restricted. You wouldn't have all these little offshoots.
and that's why there was that frontage road right there. But, I mean, you could talk to the village board about even, they could authorize the police to monitor at certain hours of the day to make sure people aren't going into your subdivision. But that's beyond the purview of this board.
No, it's not like I'm worried about people coming in off of Lake Street. It's more the people leaving. I'm really unhappy about the entrance off of Horizon because it's just like people are going to be leaving and they're just going to turn right and go through our neighborhood instead. It's more of that, and being able to handle, I mean, not only just this additional volume of this building plus the neighborhood, but us currently today, like, it's just not, the infrastructure isn't right for what we have today, and now we're just going to add all this extra stuff into it. So, I mean, that's my concern. It's mostly about safety and accessibility, and not creating a ton of stress every time any of this happens.
Come to the village board meeting. They meet the first and third Tuesdays of the month at 7 o'clock. In the town hall portion, when you could speak on anything that's not on the agenda, is at that time in the beginning.
Okay.
And bring that up.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it? That's the end of the people that have comments. If there's anyone else that wants to speak, give Kim one of your sheets.
Can I speak?
Yes.
What was the marketing strategy to put this building in? This just doesn't seem like an area where people would want to come visit high-end vintage cars just to party. I mean, you got Streamwood, Elgin, and Bartlett. Nice towns, I think more middle class than would be. I'm sure people enjoy seeing cars, but I just can't see what marketing strategy that you guys used to figure this out.
So more than half of the building is in support of the dealerships to the west. The part about the showroom is, Mr. LaCourcio and his brother, Bob and Tony, really know their business. They collect cars. They know that people like to buy unique cars. They think this will work, especially because it's not going to, I guess this goes to a lot of the concerns of the neighbors. It's not going to be a retail open 5 or 7 days a week. It's going to be by invitation only, and they'll invite people that they know have the wherewithal to do this. In addition, though, they can lease out the facility to neighbors and others who want to have a business meeting there, et cetera, and I know you heard that. So I don't think this is inconsistent at all. It's a difficult site, And if you think about what we're proposing to use it for, it's on the low end of traffic generation. This site cannot continue to remain E1. I mean, just as a zoning, and I know you know that. This is part of the village's comprehensive plan for commercial. It makes total sense that it be commercial. So many of the uses we handed out to you would be much more traffic generating. They'd be permitted by right. Those people could turn willy-nilly down going south on Horizon Drive. The village couldn't regulate that unless you decided to block off the street and force everyone to go west to Naperville Road. We're happy to have a provision in the zoning ordinance that does not permit our porters to turn left. And somebody said, and I think that's right, the Bartlett police could monitor that. Well, we would live with that. The same thing happens in Streamwood. The same thing.
Please keep it down.
Same thing happens in Streamwood with the Toyota, the neighborhood directly behind Toyota and Jeep Dodge. They don't want test drives going through their neighborhood, and we put a stop to that. Anyway, I hope I've answered. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but we've got a commercial property that it has a difficult access, and we have a very low traffic generating use that frankly is permitted under a B3 classification.
I've got a follow-up. We've heard repeatedly from residents in this area about the porters. In fact, somebody made a statement that it's really not the porters, it's the salesmen who tend to not abide by the rules. But at any rate, when there has been public hearings for the Genesis property, the Hyundai property, the parking area, and now this, that it's better than it was, but it still exists. And in your plan, coming out of the new facility, I believe there would be a no right-hand turn sign. So anybody coming out of the facility has to go left towards Lake Street. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That would be correct, but again, if we have an entertainment venue and there is somebody attending that from, I mean, they're not part of our business, they're a customer, would you think they should be restricted from turning right? It won't be very many people.
Oh, hey.
It makes.
So, in my opinion, yes. If we're trying to restrict the traffic, so my question is, whether it be the porters or the salesmen or the visitors to your museum or the customers having their car serviced, how are you going to enforce that no right-hand turn?
So I take it that you're talking about right there, no
Yes.
right-hand turn this way, right? So that can be posted, that can be also here, that can be posted in both locations, and the Bartlett police can monitor it, the neighbors can call in, like happens in Streamwood, and we could provide a name.
Excuse me, my question is, how are you going to enforce it? The police, we're asking the police to maintain it. They can, but I feel that you need to tell your employees or your visitors that don't turn right. You can't, you educate them, and that really hasn't happened. It's gotten better, as the one gentleman said. But I think it's only going to be as enforceable as, the petitioner wants to enforce it.
The petitioner can post signs, and the petitioner can educate its employees and can put handouts in its facility, in its entertainment facility, because that will be attended by people who are not there all the time. But its employees can be advised and can be told that there would be disciplinary action if they violated the rules. All of that is in place at the Toyota Chrysler Jeep facility across the street, and we're familiar with that, and we can do the same thing here. I mean, the other approach, and I'd be interested, the other approach is to put a gate here, an emergency gate. So then all the neighbors, nobody could go this way and nobody could go that way.
Hey.
But that just shows the reality of interconnective streets. It's probably not a great idea, but in urban planning, you have connecting streets. But my point, I'm going to go back to what you said. We can do all those things and will, and work with staff to make it mandatory that we educate our employees and customers.
Okay, and I think that should be done.
I agree. That's fine.
An additional request. I have
one
additional
follow-up
request.
for you, sorry.
Sure.
Regarding the hosting area.
What area?
Hosting,
The hosting area.
and I have the parties that, what are the hours that would be operational? I know they talked earlier that a lot of the other business wouldn't go beyond like a dinner hour, things like that, but I have to imagine if you're hosting guests, that would go later into the night. Do you have a time constraint?
No. I think one of the gentlemen that spoke talked about Moretti's. I mean, we would definitely not be open, to the wee hours of the morning, but.
Please shut up. You have a chance to speak if you want to. Otherwise, give him the common courtesy. You can have the police haul you out if you're going to be disruptive.
We would live with reasonable closure hours. I don't know, Christie. We've never talked about that, but
Okay.
we could do that.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question for the Genesis dealer, please. The Genesis dealer, is that gentleman there?
This gentleman?
Is he from Genesis? Who is going to be the repair shop?
This gentleman, yeah, John.
Speak with him?
Civil engineer.
No, he's not. He's the Genesis.
I apologize if I'm a little hard of hearing. My allergies are in full swing, and it makes it, my ears clogged up a little bit.
I remember you from when you came up with us when you were doing the dealership, so thank you for coming tonight. I have a question for you. I'm very familiar with the way body shops and mechanic shops work. I'm wondering why you would be sending quick oil changes to an off-site over than keeping them at the main facility, because what that will generate is a lot more traffic in and out.
Could I come closer?
Sure. I just said that I'm curious as to why you would be sending the cars that need quick service, like oil changes, tire changes, to the off-site and not keeping them at the Genesis dealer, because it's going to generate a lot of traffic in and out all day long if you're just doing quick oil changes that are taking an hour and more customers coming in and out. Could you send your more extended work projects to this location and keep your fast in and out customers at the main location?
Yeah, I absolutely, her question was, did everyone hear the question? We could absolutely send cars that would be less likely to come in and out rapidly in terms of what type of service needs they require. So you could do, you can do stuff where a car would sit there, a car would be driven there and it would sit there for maybe 2 or 3 days before it goes out. It's just a question of allocating the types of service to the different bays, if you will. Hyundai, I believe, is 26 bays. It's very busy. So there would be ample opportunity to select certain types of service to ship to this location.
I think that would help alleviate the traffic in and out. Thank you.
Sure, it would minimize some of the traffic.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
A number of times, someone has said, work on customers' cars. Does that mean that if I took my Genesis to the dealership and dropped it off there and left it for the day, that my vehicle might be taken over to this building and work would be done on it?
Sure, and I mean, I'm on the construction development side, so I'm not in the best position to answer how the auto dealership actually functions from a service standpoint, but absolutely, it would mean that if you had a service appointment at a certain time and you got to Hyundai, in order for them to accommodate you in the best possible way to get you back to wherever it was that you were going, that they can get you in and out more quickly by sending your car over there, which contradicts a little bit, trying to put cars there that would stay there longer.
Let me jump in because I asked Mr. LaCourcio that question. All of this work is going to be charged to you hypothetically. You'll give your keys, blah, 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 at the Hyundai Genesis site. They'll then shuttle it over to this building if they decide to do it. And when it's time for you to pick it up, it'll be back at the Hyundai Genesis site. So this is not going to be a place where you'll be interfacing. Our repair service customers will not be interfacing there.
So the reason why I had, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So will this facility be equipped with the mechanics, the lifts?
Yeah. 10 full service bays. 10 full service bays there. And then these are, what are they, lighter duty bays for, I don't know what, but things that don't require lifts, I think. I don't know.
Detail.
But detail bays. But customers are not going to be in here.
So
That I understand.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I look at this, I feel that this thing has an identity problem. What is it?
Well,
is it there for service, or is it there for a museum? Is it there to have parties and serve alcohol? What is it?
it's a multi-tenant building with two tenants. This is, let's say, leased to Hyundai Genesis. They're out of room over there now. Their lots are so small anyway. They're wall to wall. So this is an overflow for their repair work, which will increase their repair sales and generate significant additional revenue. And again, I know the gentleman says it right. This is not about revenue. It's about land use. Major automobile vehicle repair is acknowledged to be okay in a B3. It's a special use. So, and then this unit, this tenant, is a gallery/showroom with entertainment facilities. All of those uses are, again, allowed in a B3. So I'm not sure, really, I follow you. I mean, it's a two-unit building, and different things happen in the different units.
Mr. Bezos, I understand that you said that there will be no customers there. When I asked the Genesis dealer representative, I understood that there would be no customers there. But what I did ask for was not to have light-duty work done where we have porters going in and out every 30 minutes, every hour, flipping the cars back and forth between the dealers.
Sure.
That's all. So
No, I wrote that down, Commissioner.
Thank you
I
very
wrote that
much.
down.
I
And
just wanted to
frankly,
make sure it was clear.
difficulty in getting a car from this site, if I can find it, oh, that's not it. The difficulty in getting a car from this site back over here and not turning left, part of our agreement with Hyundai Genesis for the parking lot is our cars go out like this and then turn around and come back. So I'm just trying to say to you, it will make good business sense to them too, to not do every hour type thing and have to do that giant loop.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
This,
Fill out a... Okay, go.
I'm trying to be like a catch-22 here, but
Your name again, they need it.
Carol Hominick, 1078 Horizon Drive. In this area where there aren't going to be customers, you have a customer lounge. So I was just curious about that. That is all. Oh, because there's a break room next to it.
Yeah, the break room would be for the service tax.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I haven't spoken yet, may I speak?
Do you fill out one of the forms? Give it to Kim.
My name is Wes Hannibal.
Wait till you're at the microphone, please.
Oh, you can hear me, though. Hannibal. I've lived in Bartlett since 1973, so I've seen the progress of this village, and it's been pretty awesome. You ask about the marketing identity of this building. To me, it is it's a man cave for a car guy that has lots of money and has a chance to build a place where he can have his toys, he can fix his toys, he can have car shows, he can have auctions, he can have car and coffee things on a Saturday morning. I used to show a car at car shows and things, and we would get 120, 130 cars at car shows. And I'm sure there'll be car shows there, no matter what they say. I think it is not a commercial venue. I think it's someone's private building for them to have a good automotive time. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, my name is Don Llewellyn. I live at 1136 Peregrine Parkway. And my question for the board, and you can defer answering it because maybe you don't know, but I was researching to come here and discuss some questions. One of the things came up and it said that the Village of Bartlett does not allow new liquor license in establishments selling liquor within 1,000 feet of residential neighborhoods. So I don't know if that's true. I'm not on the board. I'm not with the Alcohol Commission or whoever would handle those specific questions, but I would respectfully request to verify whether it is legal under current Bartlett code to provide a liquor license to a new establishment under the current code revisions or the current code of the Village of Bartlett.
So this is a zoning request, which is, I know this may sound confusing, but a special use permit is completely separate from a liquor license. So this board is not voting at all on whether they should be granted a liquor license. It's just whether they should have the opportunity to apply for a liquor license. So they would still have to follow whatever liquor license rules we have. I'm not an expert on the liquor ordinance. That's not our.
So when we keep talking about, when the word alcohol comes up, we should just not even discuss that because it's not pertaining to this, what this board is discussing, it to build the building and put it here.
So they're looking at it from the zoning aspect, which is one level. The liquor license is where it gets more detailed and nuanced on whether they meet the criteria for a liquor license.
Okay.
So each liquor license has its own criteria. They're not asking for a specific liquor license.
Or video gaming license.
Or video gaming license. So this isn't about licensing, it's about zoning. I know it's similar,
Okay.
but it is different.
Can I ask a follow-up on that? So if they request to sell alcohol at their establishment or request a video gaming, will that be advertised in the Village of Bartlett, and will we be able to attend the meeting to voice our concerns?
It would be a private.
That is something that the liquor license commissioner and the board, so the mayor and the board have their discussions on that. If it's a concern that you have, like the chairman stated, you can come to the town hall portion of a village board meeting. They're the ones that actually have the say on the licensing aspect of it. And planning and zoning is a recommending body for the zoning.
I didn't know about putting the cart before the horse since the zoning hasn't been approved yet or whatever, if it would be appropriate to go to the Village of Bartlett Town Hall meeting to voice comments on something that is in the future.
I think that's very appropriate.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, because tonight, after we make our recommendation one way or another, it goes to the village board. So it's going to be on their agenda, committee of the whole. So it would be appropriate for you to address some of your concerns at the town hall portion.
Okay, thank you.
But there, you are limited to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Mr. Bezos, I have a question. This is way out in left field. I have no idea the feasibility. But looking at the site plan and looking at the existing dealerships, is there any way, has there been any discussion, a possibility of working with Moretti's and having a private drive between your new building, which could allow transport, a means of getting the cars in the lot, getting these cars servicing here, to get through Moretti's and into the dealership property.
You must have been a developer in your prior life. And I think I can say this without, I'm not breaching any confidences. So this is Moretti's, and here's the two dealerships. Mr. Goodmanson and his office about three plus years ago came up with a design to create a driveway that would go like this and across here and interface to this site, which back then we called it the religious site because it was owned by a religious facility. And for that exact reason, in fact, we would have had a connecting road that would have gone from here, down here, across here, over here, and right across from or maybe down here, I don't know. Somehow we would have a road that where the cars that were in this parking lot could just go back and forth like this. Mr. Hoffman, who's the owner of Moretti's, changed his mind, didn't want to sell. About 3 or 4 months ago, a representative of Mr. Hoffman said, maybe we do want to sell. So we quickly put together a letter of intent, and I called his lawyer, and he called me back, and, when am I going to hear from you, says I to him. And he called me that following week and said, I'm sorry, he's changed his mind again. So I can tell you that, well, what can I tell you? Mr. LaCourcio would love to buy that site, probably would try and get another car dealership for the village of Bartlett in there if he could. It's not easy to get car dealerships because they have to stay within more than 10 miles from another one with certain carve-outs, but it's not impossible. But in any event, I don't know, Bob, do you think that if Bob LaCourcio ultimately acquired this and we had put this project in, could we still get a road across there?
I think that we would absolutely do that, and you are spot on, correct. We did come up with concepts, and we recognize the interest in that, and it would take our traffic off of Lake Street.
But in lieu of Hoffman selling completely, to rent some land just for a lane and make it worth his while, because it would really solve some of the logistical problems of moving.
We tried that too, though. I'm sorry that I didn't mention it. We had this design, we had offered to buy an easement from him.
Okay.
And we would, so he'd still own it, we'd pay him money, easement, like a lease, and that didn't go anywhere.
I can add one more thing to that, too. I'm sure you're familiar with the restaurant site, and when you look at the
Can you get a little closer to the microphone?
Okay, sure, yeah. The darker color, that's all existing asphalt, and when you get into this area, this is his, I guess I'll call it overflow area. It's gravel and dirt. We offered to make the connection through here so as to avoid disturbing any of the existing asphalt pavement. So we've tried to be, as workable as we could, but like Peter said, it's up to that owner. Thank you.
Didn't we also offer to maybe pave the gravel part?
Yes, we did.
So this part that's gravel now, we offered to not only buy the easement, to finish paving this for him. So we're not here to criticize Mr. Hoffman, but in answer to your question, we've really, really, really tried. And we won't stop trying, and if we
I
are
was going to
successful...
say that might be an option to keep on going. It was pointed out, there is kind of a blind spot if you're westbound on Lake Street trying to turn left into Horizon. There's like a little bump in the road type of thing where, especially in rush hour, you might not realize that somebody's whizzing over there.
Christie?
Going like this and then here?
A little farther up is the blind spot.
Down there.
Farther west.
Any way the village can broker that in some fashion?
There have been attempts over the years. So everything that they said, the village is aware of all the attempts that they have made to try to get an easement, try to have some sort of connection, whether it's leasing, purchasing, the improvements that they said. Staff is very aware there have been attempts in the past.
How about the three-way stop sign at the,
That's something that I have in my notes to follow up with Public Works. We have to make sure that it meets the warrants, though, for stop signs.
thank you.
And some of these things with Moretti's might change as they see building going up too. Anyone else? Any further discussion or motions?
I'd make a motion. Make a motion for a positive recommendation to the village board to approve case 26-05 Horizon Plaza for rezoning from the ER1 zoning district to the B3 zoning district, preliminary final site PUD plan and special use permits for a planned unit development to serve liquor, automotive sales, automotive repair, and alteration of a wetland area subject to the conditions and findings of fact outlined in the staff report.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor at this point. I shall close the public hearing. Is there any further discussion or a second?
Second.
Second by Amy? Any further discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Michelle Sarwaz,
Yes.
Charlie DeVoe,
Yes.
George Koziel,
Yes.
Bob Picaro,
Yes.
John Miasso,
Yes.
Julie Kaplan-Marcus,
Yes.
Amy McSwain,
Yes.
Mike Reardon.
Yes. Okay, we shall pass on a positive recommendation to the board. This is going to the committee of the whole first, correct? Correct. So,
I do not have a date for the committee of the whole meeting. We're working on a development as well.
okay. So, still, if you have concerns about other issues, you can go to any village board meeting and address that because they know this is pending. Anything under new business, old business?
We will have one case for the meeting in July. Are you available? It's like, what is it, the 2nd of July?
Yes.
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 Are you available? Will we have a quorum?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, any motions to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Moved by John, seconded by George. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.